Hi everybody, welcome back. So the last time you saw the truck, it was looking a little bit different. So now she's gotten a pretty sweet makeover. So yeah, I just wanted to make this full rig walk around because so far on Instagram, the truck's been getting a lot of attention lately, you know? And a lot of people have, just been really supporting the build, and I really wanted to make a full rig walk around showing everything that I've done to it so far. So with that being said, I do have a few questions that you guys have asked me in the DMs. I did post a Q&A for this video specifically, and we'll get to that at the end of the video. So just a quick recap. This is an SR5 TRD Sport 4x4. It's a Sport Premium. You can tell it's a Sport Premium based off these mirror caps. So if it's a Sport Premium, it'll be color matched, and if not, it'll be black. So what the TRD Sport gets you are color matched accents. So you have color matched fender flares, you have the color matched grille surround. So this is going to be the biggest part. The color matched grille surround really makes the front end look a lot better. So you get color matched grille surround fenders, color matched rear view mirrors or side mirrors. You also get color matched door handles. So this is going to be huge because even on the TRD Pro, you don't get color matched door handles. So I believe the TRD Sport trim is the only one with color matched door handles. And I'm sure you can get it color matched aftermarket, but the OEM color matching looks so good because it's like two-tone. So the outside of it is color matched with black in the inside. So more color matching the rear fenders, and some more color matching back here. So you get the color matched bumper caps and this spoiler accent here. So that's what you get color matched, and you also get it blacked out as well. So you get blacked out tailgate handle. You get so this Tundra badge is actually from the factory add-on. It's an accessory, so that doesn't come stock, but you can get that optioned. You get blacked out 4x4. You get blacked out SR5, and you get blacked out Tundra badging. So yeah, and you get the TRD grill. So this TRD grill comes on the TRD Sport and the TRD Off-Road. And curious enough, from the factory, the Tundra doesn't have the Toyota logo blacked out. So you can actually get this OEM. So this is OEM, it's just an OEM overlay. I got this from Elmhurst Toyota for about $135, $140. And it came with it came with the emblem, came with a Tundra badging, SR5 badging. So I just bought that and then, used the emblem for the front, and then sold the rest to someone locally to me. So that's a quick overview of my truck. That's the stock overview. And because it's a TRD Sport Premium, you get the Softex interior. So no, it's an SR5, so no pano sunroof, but I haven't really found myself wanting it. And I get the smaller screen because I don't have the premium audio, which you can get the bigger screen on an SR5. You just can't get the pano sunroof. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into all the mods that I've done so far to this puppy. So a little bit, I'll just go kind of top down of everything that I did first. So obviously blacked out that emblem. And then second was the tint. So this tint here is 3M ceramic, 5% infrared. So 5% rear on the factory and then 5% in the front. And then We have ceramic tint, 5% as well in the back. It looks super good in the back. And yeah, so I got that done at auto tint shop next to my house. So that ran me about $800, I think. And then this TRD Sport, this blacked out badging or decal. So originally the truck came with red. I wasn't really sure if I really liked that, so I swapped them out for the black to kind of give that monochrome kind of look, right? So that's how it looks right there. And then here's on the side, on the driver's side. Okay, so that's the tint. And then yeah, I know you guys want me to talk about it. Hold on, we'll just do a quick walk around. You can see how it looks. I know I'm like teasing you guys. Yeah, so without further ado, let's get into the big boys, the meaty parts. So I got the truck lifted. I just figured, F it, why not just go straight to the Gucci stuff, right? So here's the main meat and potatoes of the build. So I'm running one of the first sets of King shocks and Total Chaos Fabrication upper arms. Isn't that gorgeous? So these are the King specific shocks for the Tundra. Let me make it a little bit bigger for you. Oh. Okay, having some camera issues. Anyways, so these are one of the first sets in the country, I think. I think I was like one of like 3 or 4 guys early September that had these. So I got these locally from a connection. Living in Southern California, there's a really big race culture. So I got these from a local connection, and I paid cash for these. These ran me about $3,500. And my connection was super awesome to work with. I basically couldn't pay him when I found it, but I paid a deposit for him to hold it for me, and I made the hour drive and picked him up. So, and then I have the Total Chaos Fabrication upper control arms. So these are awesome because one of the things that I really like about this combo is that they were developed specifically together. So I'm thinking, right, if they're developed together, they obviously should perform the best together. And so far, these have a incredible reputation for being one of the best setups for your front suspension. So these are King 2.5 with the aluminum finned remote reservoir with adjusters. So this adjuster, if you can actually see, it might be difficult but if you can see it, softer or firmer. So what I can do is I can adjust, so I can adjust this this knob to essentially tighten down the oil or the adjustment, what's called a compression adjustment. So I can make it ride softer or firmer as I wish. So these shocks are not stock. So what I did was I took this to RPM Off-Road Garage in Monrovia, California, and I took it to Steve. So Steve and his team have worked on another Tundra with Kings. My buddy Al, sponsored by Wifey. So I took it to them. They were able to adjust the shocks to about 3 inches of lift. So they were able to do that by way of adjusting the preload in the collars. So how that preload sits right now is giving me about 3 inches of lift, which I confirmed with my measurements. So I have measurements. I'll put them in the link in the description. You can check my measurements, and you can compare it against yours if you ever have the same setup as mine. Okay, so moving on to the tires. So these are 37 inch by 12.5 17 Toyo MTs. And these are no joke. Look at that. These are some big girls, honestly. So with Toyo MT, these are gonna be a true 37. So if you look here, 37, 12.5, R17, load range D. And these are gonna be a true 37 in terms of actual measured height, right? So these measure out about 36.5, while other brands, you know, like, not hating on BF Goodrich, but if you truly measure the BF Goodrich 37 or 35, they end up being actually a lot shorter. If you see a photo of a 37 Toyo MT next to a BFG KO2 in the same size, the Toyos are clearly like an inch or two taller, which is kind of crazy to me. So because these are true 37s, in order for them to fit, you have to do a lot of trimming, right? So I did a lot of trimming, some massive trimming back here. So if you know your stock truck, it'll come down like down here. So this is like almost 3 to 4 inches of liner, right? So this felt liner needs to be cut in the front, and you have to do a body mount chop in the rear. So I don't know if you can really see. Maybe I can go the other side. You can see that body mount. So what's actually funny is that's not actually the body mount. So the body mount is still intact. It's this thing right here. Okay, that's your actual body mount. It doesn't really rub there, but there was like a protrusion that protruded out about like a full like 6 inches. So it came out like this far. Okay, so you'll need to cut that. There's a bracket here. I made a video explaining everything. So, but there's a bracket here that you got to take out, and you pin it back. And you can pin it back with a screw, or what I did is I used a zip tie, and there's an existing hole back there that you can pin it back. Okay. So, back to the suspension. Here's the front. So the driver's side was a lot more complicated. What you can do is there's a bracket here. You can lift it up. So it kind of looked like an L. So what you can do is you can push it forwards and take the L piece, the smaller of the L, I don't know how to explain it, bend it up, which pushes this liner forward. And there's a washer bottle, your fluid for your windshield washer fluid, right? You can cut, I don't know if you can see, I don't know if it's difficult to see that, but you can see I cut the washer, and I drilled a kind of like a hole, and I put one of the OEM screw anchors through it, which I was able to screw this guy in, and that really helped push everything forward. Okay, so that's the front and the rear. And in terms of alignment plays a key issue as well. So with your alignment, you essentially want to center the wheel in the wheel well as best as you can. Okay, so if you look at my wheel, you have to adjust the caster. So stock, it's a little bit more negative, so it's closer towards the back. You want to adjust the caster forward, which means you need new upper control arm. So you adjust the caster forward to push the wheel away from the back, because it's easier to cut the front than it is to cut the back, right? So you do that, and you should be good to go. I mean, this doesn't rub at all driving on the street. It does rub stock, I mean off-road, because of my offset. These are method 17.5 or 17 by 8.5, 0 offset. So 0 offset's really gonna push that wheel out, right? So if you are familiar with, you know, wheel geometry, the more you stick out, it's gonna arc out more. So if you don't want to cut this much, stick to a more positive offset, like a plus 18 or a plus 12. Okay, so but I'm running 0, so it can be done. Okay, cool. So that was the front. Let's move on to the back. So the back is easy. I didn't have to trim anything in the back, and it was really good. So apologies if it's out of focus. It's the glare on my phone. I can't really see what's in focus or not. So the back here, we're just running, just running some Kings. Full remote reservoir with adjusters, finned for managing heat. And these are fully adjustable as well, so softer, firmer. Same thing as the fronts. And as far as lift goes, if you don't know, your shocks actually don't lift your truck. The springs do, okay? So I have new springs. Gonna get a good shot. So these springs currently I have right now are the Old Man Emu or OME 2863. So these are for a Land Cruiser 80 series, an FJ80. So these give me about 3 inches of lift, and I think it's might be a little bit too tall. So I'm sitting at about 3 inches of lift from my hub to the bottom of my fender, and I've measured it and I've confirmed it at 3 inches of lift. So definitely sits a lot taller than I would like, but I actually kind of like the look. I mean, it doesn't look bad, but it's not the spring height that's the issue. It's actually the spring rate. So these springs are a lot stiffer because, you know, they're made for a Land Cruiser. A Land Cruiser is an SUV and it has a D pillar, right? So you have more weight in the back, it needs more support. But with a truck, you just have an empty bed. I could fix that by adding a weight to the bed, and by way of a camper or a chase rack, hint, hint, you know? So yeah, that I'm kind of debating whether I should just swap them out now with a less aggressive spring, or just wait. I mean, it doesn't drive too bad at all. It drives super good, but you know, just things to consider. So that's the same setup here. Doesn't rub at all in the front, doesn't rub at all in the rear, even on articulation. You guys might have seen it. I put it on a forklift and it clears just, you know, just super slightly. So, but it clears. On top of that, you have to consider, with all this increased travel, you have to fix your brake line situation. So I have these extended brake lines from Yoda Mafia. So these extended brake lines will allow me to really get full droop and full travel out of my suspension and not have to worry about snapping brake lines, because that's super dangerous. If you don't have brakes, you're not stopping. And if you're going down a mountain without brakes, good fucking luck, dude. You know? So I have extended brake lines in the front and in the rear. So see if I can try to get a good angle. Can't really see anything right now, but I have front and rear extended brake lines from Yoda Mafia. So yeah, that's essentially it. The truck is looking super, super badass, and it's all functional modifications as well, you know? Nothing's on here really for looks. Super functional and super clean as well. There's nothing that's too flashy or too like gaudy or anything, and I'm all about that performance, right? So yeah, the truck is looking incredible. And yeah, I'd like to go through some Q&A questions here. So the first question was, how do these 37s drive? Are they okay? 37s run great. You know, power is not an issue. It's the fuel mileage which is the issue. So because you're running some beefier boys, you know, you're gonna be on the gas pedal a little bit more. And when you're on the gas pedal more, you consume fuel more, right? So that's gonna be a given. But in terms of power, this truck is not lacking of power at all. Second question was, how's the road noise? So honestly, these tires are loud. There's no way getting around it, but it all depends on your own situation, right? So I had an exhaust on my 4Runner and it droned and I got used to it. And now noise to me isn't really an issue. If anything, the hum that comes from these tires actually kind of make me kind of sleepy. So that's probably not good. But yeah, so that's noise. Total build cost right now, everyone's been asking me. I have my full build list in my Instagram link, my gear project link. I put everything there, but total in, I'm about 10 G's. So about $10,000 in mods, which I think is pretty good because, you know, people will wince at 10 G's in mods, but won't blink an eye $10 to $15, $20,000 market adjustment. So I think I went the better route. So another question was, I think those were really the only main questions so far. How do the Kings ride? They ride incredible. So even though I already have the preload cranked up on mine, they still ride super smooth, super good. I have them adjusted at full stiffness right now because I drive a little bit more aggressive, so I like to turn corners a little bit more. So that kind of just depends on you as a driver. How does, you know, the spring in the back, how does it drive? Like I mentioned before, the spring rate is a little bit heavy for this application, but you know, it's not to say if you're gonna go with a heavier setup in the back that it won't be the right application for you. Okay, so yeah, it's really about it. The next few mods I'm looking at is definitely exhaust, so stay tuned for that. And oh, another people are asking me about re-gearing. So the thing about re-gearing, the truck doesn't need it per se, right? But when it does become available, because a lot of people seem to forget that this is still a new platform and not really a lot of parts have been coming out for, or not many parts have come out for this platform yet. But as soon as, you know, gears become available, I'd love to have some gears on the truck. I'm not super versed in gearing. I haven't really done too much research in that topic, but I know it's a must when you go oversized tires. So re-gearing, since I have the TRD Sport, I don't have the locking diff, but I know you can add an air locker. You know, I know a lot of Gen 2 Tundra guys that have done that. So air locker will be in the works, maybe front and rear. That would be super sick. Yeah, but other than that, it's looking super good. I mean, I have the final build idea in my head, but you know, I gotta keep that a secret until I, you know, get it all going. So anyways, if you guys liked the video, please like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think. This truck is looking sweet. If you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, follow me at fullmag_Tundra on Instagram to see more of the build. That's where I'm gonna post all of my updates first. So if you guys wanna follow the build, you know, go ahead and check it out there. And without further ado, I'll just leave you at that. All right, guys, have a good one. I'll see ya. Bye.